Hello and welcome to the KuberNet video podcast, March 2009. Today we have the pleasure to welcome Nick Haase from Brisbane, Australia, and he will tell us about our Brisbane City Portal, which was developed in 2008 during 12 months.
Yeah, 2007.
Yeah,
2008, yeah.
2007, 2008. And I'd like to do a quick interview in about 15 minutes. And my first question is so that we Europeans, I don't know what Brisbane, how many citizens has Brisbane?
According to the latest statistics that I could find online, it's about 1.7 million people in the greater Brisbane region.
Okay, so it's a little bigger than Barcelona is.
I suppose so.
Barcelona is 1.5, around 1.5, so it's quite similar in matters of citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Drupal is the system, the open source CMS system that the portal was developed on.
Yep.
Which won in 2008 the award of the overall CMS system of choice. What was your decision to base the portal on Drupal core?
We always knew that we needed sooner or later a CMS as opposed to what we had before. We had basically a collection of custom-made applications, such as events calendar, PHP based, which was entirely written in-house. We had a directory, which was a Java application, which was completely separate from that. And mainly our content, such as articles, etc., so more static content, was actually managed as static HTML sites. Really, the final point when we decided to use Drupal over other potential candidates for open source CMSs was when there was an IBM article doing a comparison of several open source CMS, and you could tell that they looked at it very closely. It wasn't just some preference of somebody using a system and basically just singing its praises because they don't really know other ones. It was really a quite scientific look at it.
Nice.
And that was sort of comforting the at the time solutions architect or solutions person who essentially was responsible for making the decision, and the backing of IBM provided. So we can go with that. That's okay. So we had a look of how far we can take that, and it turned out our requirements in many aspects were just very specific, and we realized quite quickly we did have to do a lot of custom development.
But as I know, what you stuck to was always have everything developed apart from the core system. You were just promoted to be the head lead developer of our Brisbane portal. How many people are working on the entire portal? How strong is the team?
I would say about 25 people, which encompasses marketing, sales, and a development team, a small development team, and probably the biggest team is around content production. We do have our own writers.
As you told me, the copywriting team is very very experienced, and you don't buy or subscribe content. You create all the content yourself, and the content is really well done and really well studied from known writers all over Australia.
Yeah.
What kind of applications you're using? Talking about social communities, social applications like Twitter, Facebook. you offer some kind of options to integrate those functionality, or providing that yourself to your users?
Well, we do have people who really try to push us being involved in most popular social apps. You mentioned Twitter, etc. And we do have, for example, a Twitter feed, as in we do publish RSS content straight onto Twitter.
Well, as I just experienced, you spied on my comments on Twitter, announcing
somebody
that this interview is going to happen, and you just knew that I announced that, and this is quite surprising.
Well,
so
I have not found out yet where that was actually coming from, but yes.
You have some really motivated, experienced people in your team that dedicate their own services to monitor that. How about tracking and statistics? How do you do that? I mean, you have obviously a lot of users browsing over your site, and you don't want to let them scroll just over it. If you have a strong team on developing content, you need to know what they are interested in.
Well, the main application that we use for user tracking is Omniture. We did get a module developed to interface Omniture with Drupal and to be able to be as fine-grained as possible as far as mining the data. But from what I can tell, and this is only basically looking on the shoulder of people who configure Omniture and who are actually making use of the data, is certainly a science in itself to get it really configured
to tell you what
for all the different views on this data, to make it useful for depending on who is asking for the data.
Yeah, exactly. That's quite a thing to do. I know myself from our clients that often there is one person in the marketing team that prepares all the statistics to different heads to present them to, because the statistics itself, they need a lot of dedication to see really in the numbers what's going on really on the site. So you have to really go into that to well.
So there's the configuration part, and somebody who has intimate knowledge of the application itself, Omniture, and then, as you say, it makes a lot of sense to have the people who are also managing the content to have this other view then to see how are people actually using it. If I'm reshuffling my articles and give different articles to different spaces within my area, how do users respond? Is the traffic generated increasing, decreasing? Where is it moving, etc. So basically a lot of that interface between looking at user activity and being able to change the actual site and see what happens, preferably by the same person, so they take an ownership of that. That has proven very beneficial.